What's up, nerds, geeks, and gamers alike? It's Nerdy Nick, and welcome to episode 3 of my new YouTube show. And I don't even know if we should call it new at this point because it's just a thing now, so let's get rolling. Today, we are going to be talking about my favorite N64 games that I have in my collection so far. So this will be a part 1 little mini-series thing. So, let's go ahead and take a look at the console first. What makes this console even worth collecting for? That would, to a gamer, by the way, not just a current gen gamer, but gamers in general, that would make them laugh because everyone knows Goldeneye, Mario Kart 64, Super Mario 64, I mean all these games, right? Donkey Kong 64, all these games make this console worth collecting. And this console also had many cool variations, like mine's the gold one. There's those cool see-through plastic ones like the green, the watermelon color, the blue, there's like the special Hey You Pikachu edition, and all kinds of stuff. So, this console holds a lot of nostalgia for me, obviously, from having it as a kid. This is my original that I bought from Toys R Us, the Toys R Us exclusive. This console was like everything to me, aside from my PS1. But this one was just like, oh my gosh, I got like the elite gaming console of the time. And I always thought it was cool that Nintendo did it right with 4 games or game controller slots. So no need for the little controller link there, PlayStation. Anyways, so let's break this up into 5 games, all right? So these are my top 5 favorite games that I have for my collection so far. So, coming in at number 5, we've got Sarges Heroes 2 from the Army Men series. This was published by 3DO. So most of you are probably saying like, okay, why Army Men? So, Army Men Sarges Heroes 2, for me, first of all, when you're a kid and you're walking through Blockbuster and you see a green cartridge, I mean, you're like, oh my gosh, I want that. I want to play that. That looks, it's different. It's not gray. So, the game is a lot more lighthearted than the first one. The first one had a more serious tone to it, and this one was just more silliness to it, more color to it. The graphics were enhanced. The gameplay felt a little bit better, a little more smooth, not so jerky, I guess you could say, like the first controls in the first game. It's really cool that you go from the Army Men's world back and forth to our world. And when they're in our world, they are the size of like a little Army Man figure, the little plastic ones. And the cool thing too is like there's destructive environments from like wine bottles and such and whatnot that really like show how small they are and whatnot. Kind of like the Micromaniacs game I was talking about in my PlayStation 1 collection video. Anyways, this game was fun. It's part of like, I don't know, 10, 12 games in the whole Army Men series, and it's just worth your time to pick up and try. So, coming in at number 4, Turok. Turok number 1. So, little trivia here. When did Turok come out? Well, it came out in the 50s as a comic, and it made all its way up. It made its way all the way up into the 90s when the studio Acclaim purchased it and got the rights to make a game. When the game came out, it was a little delayed because it was supposed to come out, I believe, in September the year before, or no, December. I can't remember. Don't quote me on that. But it was delayed for a few months because the developers were pushing the 64 to its limits. They were using the graphics, the 3D graphics, to the highest capacity that they could, which in turn gave a great product. It was worth the wait. The delay, really didn't feel that much of a inconvenience because the 64 had so many other games you could play. But you play as Turok, the awesome Native American warrior, and you're fighting dinosaurs, you're fighting aliens, demons, poachers, all these guys. You're the protector of this barrier between Earth and the Lost Land. And you run into some bad guys who want to steal this ancient relic that will destroy the barrier and whatnot. And you've got to stop them! Yes, you, Turok. You have like 13 weapons, and it's an awesome first-person shooter because it's not like your traditional shooter. It's also platforming, adventure. There is like that fog in the game because the graphics weren't like they are today, where you can see like all the way down as far as your eye can see in the game. With this, you can only see as far as the graphics will let you see it, and then as you keep walking, you'll see less fog and you'll see more of the area. But again, this game was just awesome. It's very fun, but it can be frustrating at times. So this is for your patient gamer because there's not really like a great map system to it. You can view the map while you're playing, but it overlays on the screen. So like you've got your bow and arrow or your machine gun, and then on top of that you've got your map system, which is like this tiny like line grid system. But again, this game is totally worth it. This was a console seller. This boosted the sales of the N64 back in the day, so kudos to Acclaim and Turok for doing so. Coming in at number 3, we've got Force Gemini, brought to you by the guys who are responsible for games like Conker's Bad Fur Day, Donkey Kong Country, Goldeneye, and so many more classics. Rare. So let's go ahead and say that Force Gemini is one of those games that will always be one of my favorites, no matter what. I'm just going to be completely biased to it. One, because I love games by Rare, and two, when I bought this as a kid, I was like, oh my gosh, finally a game where younglings are kick-ass, they're given guns, weapons, and they're out to destroy all the bad guys. This game is like a total mix of Super Mario 64 and Starship Troopers. And I know that sounds like a very odd mix, but this game is totally set in the future. You've got like laser Gatling guns, laser pistols, rocket launchers, grenade launchers, and so on and so forth. And you can play as 3 characters. I can't remember their names. They're really far out. Maybe we'll put them right below me. But anyways, 1 boy, 1 girl, and a dog. And they all have their own different unique abilities. For instance, the male character can walk through lava and not take any damage. The girl can swim underwater for an infinite amount of time, and the dog can hover around and whatnot. So that comes in handy when you're out adventuring and going through different levels and whatnot. So you can always switch your characters and figure out those little secrets that you couldn't as one character or the other. The gameplay is, I don't mind it. It was met with mixed reviews, although this game is critically accepted. The aiming system can be a little hard to get used to at times, but this is like a running gun shooter slash platformer, so you're not really like going to be hardcore aiming and sniping all that much. There is like a scope for some weapons, but for the most part, this game is just run and gun and get the hell out of the way. Totally fun. Definitely check it out. The multiplayer on this is awesome. You can play with 3 friends and do standard team death matches. I will say that this game, the second I saw it as an adult, I picked it up. I was like, nope, I don't care how much you're asking for it. It's only $11, but I want it. All right. So coming in at number 2 is a game that everybody is going to be pissed that it's not number 1. And by now you've probably already thought of the game I'm talking about. So the reason why it's number 2 for me, well, you're going to find out. My number 2 is Goldeneye for the Nintendo 64, brought to you by Rare. This game holds a very special place in every 90s kid's game's heart. And I'm not talking about kids born in like 95 and up. You're not 90s kids, you just happen to be born in my time. You're welcome. So, Goldeneye is one of those games that really brought you and all your friends together, used all 4 player control ports, and you conquered that split screen gaming each and every night on the weekend. This game was amazing in so many ways. And yeah, I might have rose-colored glasses on when I talk about it because going back to it now, it is a little bit hard to get used to. But you know what? You get used to it. Goldeneye was one of those titles that really, I want to say, made you focus a little bit more as a gamer. You couldn't just run and gun because half of the time you were trying to figure out how to do one or the other. The weapon systems in it were really cool. It really introduced different ways of destruction, like with the trip mines, the laser watch, the karate chop that looked exactly like this. Quick side note, when I was over at the Game On Expo last year in 2016, there was a GoldenEye tournament, and now this was the first time I had played this game in like 12 or 13 years. And I totally forgot how to play it. You all know how hard it is to just pick up and play GoldenEye when you haven't played it for more than like a year. So it was a standard team deathmatch style tournament, 1 kill elimination, I believe. And it was, you start with nothing, get a gun, find one, and then don't die. Kill everyone else. I did not have the pleasure of finding a gun. So I was running in a serpentine pattern, doing this, all the way up and down this hallway, and I almost killed a guy doing that. It was one hit away. One hit, but he managed to find a gun, and don't bring a chop to a gunfight. Anyways, so this game is super nostalgic, still holds value to a lot of people, and is still playable. I mean, you just got to get used to the controls again, which takes maybe 5 minutes of just dicking around and playing. But the levels were intense. You know, you had all those different modes, like the big head mode, the paintball mode. And every time you just put this guy in, it's heaven. It's like this console was made for this game. Alright guys, so enough kissing butt of GoldenEye. Coming at you at number 1, my favorite game that I own right now for my Nintendo 64. Gotta catch 'em all. Pokemon Stadium. Yep, that's right, Pokemon Stadium. This is actually my original cartridge too. If you can see, maybe we'll take a picture, but it actually has my 8-year-old handwriting on there where it says property of Nicholas. So let's get right to it. The game art on the box, you can see here, totally used those 90s 3D graphics that you saw on many of our game art cases on PS1 games and N64 games. So this game actually was a sequel in Japan. They had gotten one years before, but it only had around like 48 playable Pokemon. And when this one came out, it had all first-gen Pokemon available. So this was like the true, even though it was a sequel for them, this is like the real deal one. Numero uno. So it's a, awesome battle type. This was the first game where you really got to see your Pokemon battle in 3D, and it totally changed the game. It was really fun. You got to, one of the cool features was you got to use a transfer pack, and you could get your Pokemon red, blue, or yellow cartridges from your Game Boy Color, plug it into the back of your controller, and transfer Pokemon over, or even emulate your game and play it on your TV, which was totally cool at the time. Something that like the Retron 5 does, but 17 years ago. The mini games in this were freaking fun. There were some that were a little bit hard, like the Clefairy memorization one. I could never do well in that. But the ring toss with the Ekans and the race with the Rattatas were totally fun. You could also go to the Leader Castle. Don't quote me because I'm using loose terms right now, but you could go and face like the Elite Four and all of them. And I never beat that because I just got frustrated and, I was like, why can't I win? Why can't I win? Don't throw your controller. Keep your calm, you little turd. But anyways, this is my number 1. So far, I do have a bucket list of games that will eventually top this number 1. But that's why this episode is a part 1 of a mini-series for my show. my channel. I want to know in the comments what N64 games are your favorites. Rank them for me. Give me your top 3. Give me your top 5 even. Let me know what you guys think. Leave comments down below. Also, don't forget to hit that like button. Please subscribe, like, share. I appreciate you guys watching the video and hearing me ramble on about my favorite N64 games that I have right now. Yeah, I know. I should put an asterisk somewhere and saying that I don't have any Legend of Zelda games right now. I know. I'm looking, alright? I'm looking. It's hard in Tucson. Gaming is scarce here. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. And until next time, Nerdy Nick out.